K4FNY is alongside. My signal in here, Kevin, I didn't look at the answer, but you're loud enough on the copy above the background noise, so that's good news. And yeah, that's interesting stuff about Terry, about things propagating on the power lines. I used to work for electric utility here. In fact, I worked for them for 32 years. You get into some thorny situations sometimes. Yeah, it is. But you know, it's like a computer modem, sort of. You're tied to the biggest antenna in the world, power grid. So, you know, you can expect strange things to happen. But fine business on your TV situation. It was a shame you had to resort to a TV for it, but I assume that you were able to trade it for time. So that's a good deal. I haven't got any complaints here of interference, but we're in a subdivision here also. So we're not in the city, so to speak. There's 2,500 houses in this one subdivision, and south of me here, a couple of miles, there's another subdivision that's just as big. So we was in Atlanta. We're about 40 miles northeast of the city, so no place you can go in the state of Georgia unless you get way up in the mountains. You're going to be maybe the right place. But maybe not. So I think it's coming along here to eliminate this bracket. It gives you an interesting time to try things out, see what works. On the bright side, W3MMR with WB8DMX K4FNY.
K4FNY, W3MMR. Well, Charlie, you bring up a good point about the electric utility. We are connected to the biggest, I guess, one of the biggest antennas that, out there. Here, especially here up in Philadelphia. I mean, Pico is our power utility here, and it services all of Philadelphia, a lot of South Jersey, a lot of, basically all of southeastern Pennsylvania, and a lot of South Jersey, depending on what utility you choose to use there. So it's definitely a big antenna, and that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. So, and like I was saying, I'm glad that the noise is gone with the TV situation. I'm surprised that I was even able to buy her a television, because at first, I let her know what was going on, and then she, I said, I'll buy you a TV. Then I didn't hear from her for a week. I was supposed to come over and try to figure out what the noise was. She said, okay, yeah, call me when you get home from work and you can come over. And then I never got another answer for a week. And then she finally called and told me that, asked if it was still there, and turned some things off, turned the TV off, and I said it was gone, turned it back on, came back, so on and so forth. Then I told her I'd buy her a television, and then I didn't hear anything for another almost 2 weeks. Trying to, ask if, hey, is this the deal? I'm swapping televisions. I just want to know before I order it. I don't want to buy a TV for no reason, because I don't need one. And she finally got back to me and finally did the deal. And then I get her son brings over the other television, and he's standing on my front porch with the TV, and the noise is still there. I said, whoa, we got an issue here. Hold on a second. Put the TV down. I got a call here. I got to call your mother. And she wouldn't answer. The noise goes away. And then that was the last time I heard it. But I was telling her, I said, look, this isn't the right television. Number one, it's 10 inches smaller than the one you told me, so I bought you a giant television. You told me it was a 52-inch. I bought you this is a 42-inch. It's not even a plasma that they gave me. It was an LCD. Then I plugged the television into my shack, back, and the thing didn't do nothing, no interference at all. So, but as long as the noise doesn't come back, I don't care. She can give the TV, that other television, to whomever she wants, as long as it doesn't get plugged back into that house. And if it does, I'm going to the ARRL, the FCC, and doing what I got to do with that. So, anyway, that's the story with that. Over to you, Kevin. Holding up well here too, man. About 10 over S9, 5 to 10 over S9 with some QSP, but no big deal. WB8DMX in the group from W3MMR.
Yeah, good morning, Alpha Juliet 1 Golf. W3MMR in the group from WB8DMX. Well, listen, you were talking about time. Excellent receiver. They're sitting over here in the next minute. We reported to A&P Power Company, AEP. They supposed to come out and did a test on it and stuff, and found out that one of the insulators from the transformer up on the pole pigs went bad on it. And at night sometime when it starts raining, you see that thing arc out there. So again, it's all sliding in about lightning resistor up there on top of that thing, and like I said, it gets there, but get it well out there, you see the fire starts and then outside the insulator and stuff. But as it goes out, a lot of products over there on the receiver side there for sure. But Charlie, I'm gonna call it one and done this morning. I got to get the cook outside, so we got to get out outside for the thing there for sure. The other one looks back at me. From WB8DMX in beautiful downtown Columbus, Ohio, and the Johnsons like you too. This here, guys, thanks for letting me come aboard out there. Right there for sure. From WB8DMX. Over you did, Charlie.
Okay, WB8DMX. K4FNY. Having faded out into oblivion, but I heard you say you were going to be one and done. Have a good, nice day up there, and don't get we'll come again. We're doing all this for you. Yeah, Terry, what I had to add in this location, I took a portable Grundig shortwave radio here. It's broadcasting shortwave, and put a little antenna on the car and drove around till I found. Transistor radio, little portable short pocket radio, put it down below the broadcast band, down about 540 kilohertz, and go around your house, see if you can locate something like that. So that's what I have done there. You'd be surprised how much noise computers and refrigerators and everything else make. They put computer chips in every appliance you can think of. But hoping that stays gone. So anyway, the QTH is in the basement, and I've got everything wired here. The basement's partially finished, and this side of it has got a huge ground bar that I've grounded the rig to, and have tuned radios for each band. All that's all bonded together, and then of course the antenna is just a big inverted L. W3MMR with WB8DMX sign, K4FNY. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard Chris AJ1G broke in there before Kevin his transmission. So Chris, if you're still in there, pick it up and then send it back to me. AJ1G W3MMR.
Yeah, W3MMR, AJ1G. Yeah, good morning, Perry. I could have sworn I heard you checking in early when Kevin, KD4UMU, first showed up on frequency.
early on, and maybe I heard your dad and thought it was you, but I could have sworn you were in there. I turned it over to you a couple times, but you weren't there. I think you said you actually heard people, but went down to Wawa, and I surmise you might have done that. Yeah, good signal up here this morning, Perry. Charlie, likewise, you got a good signal here. It's dropped the audio gain down here. Ben's in pretty good shape. I did not hear Kevin DMX at all. He just he was weak earlier, and then he just I guess propagation changed, we lost him here. Good morning, good weekend. Was going to go out to Cape Cod, but had a change of plans there. Couldn't know the Cape Cod VHF contest operations out of Wellfleet at the Fernie site. I heard they didn't do that great. They only got about 60 QSOs, and so I really didn't miss much, apparently. I tried to listen here. I heard very little activity on here locally on 2 meters. I made one contact right at the beginning, and it was just because I worked a local guy just before the contest, and he came up and gave me an official contest QSO, but that was it. But I did work a bunch of DX last night from up in Warwick, Rhode Island, from the shopping center parking lots. Had a good time doing that. Worked a lot of my buddies over across the pond in the 75-meter DX window. It was a good night for DX. Maybe, getting pretty close here. I'm keeping an ear out on the window, see if Peter, VK6APZ, is going to show up on a long path out of Western Australia this morning. It might be a good morning for it. So I guess it goes to you, Perry, and I guess the noise is still away. That's good. At least that part of the deal is holding up, hopefully. W3MMR and the AM gang, AJ1G.
AJ1G. In the group, W3MMR. Good morning, Chris. Sounding good down here this morning. Big signal as well. Great to hear you. No, I wasn't in there. It's funny though. I heard you say that. I was walking out the door to go do my daily run down to Delaware, and I heard my father. I think you were after him. And I heard you say you thought I checked in. It's funny because I just turned my radio, literally just turned the radio on, got it fired up. When you said you thought you heard me check in there, so I thought that was kind of funny. I was in there in spirit, but I didn't officially check in. But I was in there in spirit. 7-3 to you, Kevin. Viking 2 sounded great this morning, and pleasure to hear you in here as always. Kevin, so hopefully we'll catch you again real soon. Real good on the DX there, Chris. I heard, I was listening yesterday, I guess it was yesterday afternoon, Ray, W2RE, was transmitting from Jonesport, Maine, on the big 5-element array, 5-element wire array that wire Yagi that he has up there. Well, I don't even know if that's his station. I know he uses it. I know he just built it for somebody, but I don't know if it's particularly his. I know he uses his program, remote ham radio, and his software and everything there to access it, and all those stations up there, which is awesome. I guess if you build them, and do all the work, you should have access to it, no matter if it's your money or not. That's how I feel. But yeah, he was up there, and I was listening to some of the European stations coming in on 80, seeing if I could hear them, which I could hear some. I couldn't obviously hear them all, because my antenna's not that high here. Its apex is about 60 feet. And, the one end's about 30 feet off the ground, and the other end's about 15 or 10 feet off the ground. So I kind of have a cloud burner antenna, especially with the ground screen. So I was surprised I could hear any stations. But I would like to do some more 160 operating, try to DXing, because I essentially have a vertical with a capacitance hat on 160, because I short the feeders out and run it as a T antenna. So I would like to maybe try some more DXing on 160. But anyway, everybody's still coming in here real good. So down to you, Charlie. How you hearing Chris? K4FNY from W3MMR.
W3MMR with AJ1G, K4FNY. So I've got Chris in here on 9 this morning. Good morning, Chris. The was almost that high, and it's just background here. It's not interference. So I've always had pretty high. You know, these heal everything. They're real susceptible to any kind of racket and noise. But I had heard you talking about working 75 meter DX. I haven't done much of that lately here. My favorite DX fence at this location is 17 meters when it opens up. It's a lot of fun. A lot of folks from Australia and Southeast Asia come in here pretty well. So, and of course the smattering of stations from Europe. They're really into it. They're working DX, so they're just seeing how many folks they can get in here. It's kind of one and done. But on 17, you can at least have a QSO. So anywho, we can see if Chris is cocking me good enough here. AJ1G, go ahead. K4FNY.
Yeah, K4FNY, AJ1G. Okay, Charlie, very good. Yeah, I was just looking up W2RE there, and that is a station he built, or an antenna he built for a guy up there in Jonesport, and apparently there's a bunch of information available on it. I was just about to look it up. Yeah, 5-element wire array on 75. I don't know. I like to be the giant killer. You know, I like to go. I'm like David and Goliath. You know, David versus Goliath. I go in there with my 100 watts and a ham stick, and I'm working people. You know, I'm getting the signal across. You know, I'm not getting 5.9s or 5.9 plus 20 dBs, but it's getting there. I mean, that's the sport of it. You know, I mean, anyone can build a big station and make it work, but you know, being able to make it across with low power and a ridiculously inefficient antenna is to me, that's more of a sport. You know, anyone can do it with high power. And yeah, Perry, I could have sworn I heard you check in, but
AJ1G, W3MMR. Actually, I work for Meineke, but it's just the same, very similar. Very similar. What I do in the mornings, there's a shop right over the border in Delaware, down in Claymont, Delaware. We have the same owner. I own the big boss owns that shop, and I go down there. I get the weekend deposits from Friday and Saturday out of the safe, bring them up to our shop, and then I drop them off at the bank when the bank opens at 9. Then I get the repair orders from the week, all the paperwork and receipts for the credit card receipts for the week, and bring them up to our shop for him. So that's the story of what I do in the mornings. I leave here about 5:15. Usually get back around 6 or so. Sometimes a little before that, depending on traffic, because I got to take 95. And sometimes traffic on 95 can get pretty heavy in this area. And being right in Philadelphia, right outside of Philadelphia this time of the morning. So that's the story on that. I worked at 3 Meinekes now. I work at 2 down south and 1 up here, and every one we've done everything from big engine swaps, transmissions, dashboards, heater cores, condensers, evaporators, dash removals for that, big electrical diagnostics from chasing down broken wires and engine harnesses and dash harnesses and replacing engine harnesses and things as such. Today I have to actually start on ripping another motor apart on a 2010 Ford Expedition. I have to rip the motor out of it and then tear the motor down for the warranty company. The customer has a warranty, aftermarket warranty that they pay for monthly. And the warranty company wants me to rip the motor down and see exactly, take the rod caps off the connecting rods and look at the bearings, the main bearings, and see the rod bearings and the main bearings to see why exactly it failed, which is kind of a pain. The job pays 21 hours of labor to do, so it's going to take a long time. I think I have to lift the body off the frame to get the engine out of that one, so it's going to be a big job today, starting today anyway. I'm not going to finish it today, obviously, but got to start on it today. But yeah, we do everything, and I do everything. I'm lead technician and service manager, so I do all the big jobs, and I also do custom exhaust, duals, and welding, and custom fabrication, and all that stuff. So they keep me pretty busy there, Chris. And like I said, every Meineke I've ever worked at has done pretty much all the same stuff. We handled. There isn't anything really that we don't handle. Pretty much so. And if we do, we recommend them to go to the dealer or something like that. So that's the story on that. And real good, Charlie, on your high noise floor. Well, not real good, but that's about my noise floor. Here's an S9. It never gets below an S9. Maybe a little bit below here on AM, but it's usually right around an S9, minus 73 to 74 dBm. So down to you, Charlie. I'll stick in here for one more. K4FNY and the group W3MMR.
Okay, Perry, W3MMR. AJ1G, K4FNY. Well, I've given up working on cars. We've thinned down to one automobile here, a little Kia Soul, and it's got a real long warranty on the engine and transmission, but so we'll see how that works out. I do have an independent here, mechanic that I use for a long time, and he's really good, and not knocking the dealers or anything, but he's a pretty sharp cookie. But I just can't get down to work on it. I used to do all kind of mechanics work like that especially with my brothers-in-law. They were big into drag racing in the 60s, and actually did pretty well at it. I don't remember what class they ran in, but I remember driving one of the cars down the track one time, and I figured out that wasn't for me. So run one of them as fast as it'll go. Just run it fast enough to win. So, anyhow, I believe I'm going to bail out and stand by here. The noise level has just gotten real high. But I have a constant S8, S9 here, and it's just an atmospheric racket. Nothing we can really trace down. Just the nature of the beast. So, Chris, down to you, and I'm gonna bail out. AJ1G with W3MMR, K4FNY, 73s.
Yeah, okay, Charlie. K4FNY, W3MMR, AJ1G. Okay, Perry. Yeah, I'm sorry I confused Meineke and Midas there. I don't know if we have a Meineke around here that I know of. Certainly not in town here in the westerly Pawcatuck area. We have the Midas. There might be a Meineke over towards New London somewhere. And yeah, wow. Well, you certainly got a very interesting and probably professionally rewarding job. You're not just cutting rusty pipes all the time and putting better ones in. That's great. That's a really nice job, and I'm sure your background in the Navy sure helped you out. I know that's something that my son Dave really stood in well. He went into National Guard while he was going to college, and he's an aviation electrician. He went to basic training right out of high school, and then went to school for a semester, and then did his A school down in Newport News area at Fort Eustis. And he ended up like second in his class. Did very well. Made sergeant. He spent the whole year over in Camp Arif John, Kuwait during the height of he got there about a week before the hostilities broke out in 2003 there in the Gulf War there, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and stayed there till February the following year. And they did a lot of work on a lot of helicopters over there. It was the biggest logistics base in the world just about at that point. But all that experience, he ended up now he's doing software engineering for a company that does all that work for Pratt & Whitney up in East Hartford, and he's pretty happy with what he does up there. Anyhow, I'm going to sign out too. I hear some activity down in the window. I'll see if I can maybe work Peter if he's up there, VK6APZ, see what's going on down there on our Sunset Rail line. Maybe I'll even go on 40 and see what's playing on 40. And one of these days, I'm going to get my 40-meter vertical up with the elevated radials to try that as a DX antenna. Also running as an inverted L on 75 with a top hat section. Over to you, Perry, 73. Have a good day, and I guess I guess you're working today, even though it is a holiday. But yeah, good luck on that job. Maybe it'll be nice, and I don't know. Maybe it'll be quiet. Maybe it'll be busy. I don't know what the shop will be like on a day like this. Maybe a lot of people will take the opportunity to bring their cars in since they're off. W3.
All right, Chris. 7-3 to you. 7-3 to Charlie. Great hearing you guys in here as always. And yeah, I guess it's a rewarding job. It's okay. I don't know. I get there's some days where I get tired of it, and other days where I don't. But it's just another job, I guess. Some guys, people who are really into cars and have it as used automobiles as a hobby and stuff. I don't know. I never could just because I'm working on 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. The last thing I want to do when I get home is work on a car or look at something, So, but to each their own. So anyway, 7-3 guys, and everybody's been sounding great here this morning. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. K4FNY with the AJ1G sign. This is W3MMR. See you guys.